Hello, my friends, again. Here we are. And today I want to share about the third part, Surrender 3. For some reason, there was a Surrender 1 and 2. Links are here above. And then today is Surrender 3, where we are going to really look at why it is so difficult to surrender our separate sense of self. It's not a small task because it's everything. It's everything that we know, feel, taste, touch, smell, want, experience. It's everything. So you can't just go like in one swoop, say, okay, I'm surrendering it. It's a process, as is everything. And the more we practice becoming aware of where we are still holding on and where we are still attached, and then we can work with that. But ultimately, it comes down to your deepest longing. And it seems that that is the work, where we start kind of excavating this deep longing, which is covered with the things that we think we want. Well, we do want them, but we think they're going to make us happy. Ultimately, they're going to make us feel fulfilled. Survival is a huge one, right? We always hold on to something so we can survive. But, today I just want to share something that Joe Goldsmith, as many of you know, that Joe Goldsmith, he was literally my first opening door to the divine way back in the late 80s. And his teachings have kind of embodied themselves in me, and I will always have access to that some way or another. And when I read or hear something that he says in one of his books or talks, and it resonates, then it's like, oh yeah, I can just take a moment and just take that in. So I want to read you just a little quote here that I saw the other day, and it very much has to do with surrender. I posted it on Facebook also, but let me just read it to you here. So he says, I surrender. I surrender every material obstacle, every mortal and human obstacle, everything that stands between me and God. In thy presence is fullness of life. I surrender every desire that I have ever had. I surrender every desire but one. All that I seek is thee. Let me be in thy presence. Thy grace is sufficient for me, not thy grace and health or wealth, but thy grace alone. I surrender the desire for person, place, thing, circumstance, or condition, even my hope of heaven. I surrender every desire for recognition, for reward, for gratitude, for love, for understanding. I'm satisfied with thy grace. If only I can sit here and hold thy hand, I will never ask for tomorrow's breakfast. I will fast the rest of my days. Just let me hold thy hand, and I shall never hunger. I shall never thirst. Only let me hold thy hand. Let me be in thy presence. And that's Joe Goldsmith from the book called The Art of Meditation. Now, that's a big mouthful, isn't it? And most of us are probably not in a position to really say that and mean it. And as always, we cannot bypass. It simply doesn't work. So we have to meet ourselves where we are at. If you're not if you're not ready, or that's the wrong word, if you don't feel that deep, deep down in your heart, a deep longing and a deep yearning to just be with the divine, or just be the divine without any separation, where there's no me and God. There's just the one. And of course, I am that. That is the experience in all of us. But like I said, there's so many layers above that deep longing that we are still identified with, and that we are still very attached to. And if we just say, I'm just going to surrender it all, and if it comes from the mind, it doesn't do you any good. It's just a mind thing, but it has to really be felt deep down in your heart. And of course, that's why I talk about the longing and the longing and the longing, because that is the doorway back to God. But even though we may feel it, most of us feel that, like, yeah, that's all I want. But I need to pay my bills, and I want to be successful, and I need to work on my partnership, or I need to get my health in order. All these things, they're just there, and they take our attention away. So we can, we can do the bypass, but then we are still going to be pulled back in, because it's not coming from a real deep felt sense. And that's the only way it can happen. We need to come back into our bodies all the way down to the ground, so we can feel what it is that lights us up, that makes us get up in the morning. There's something that we just want more than anything. Until we get to that deep longing of the divine, there are many other things. And, we are here for a reason. We are probably here for the reason to experience life separate from the divine, as a separate sense of self. So we need to complete that cycle. Why not? There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're still in that cycle where, no, I want to be successful, and I want to make a difference in the world, and I want this and I want that. And if it's still coming from like from up here more, then do it seriously. Do it and enjoy it and make the best of it. And maybe that's all you want in this lifetime. Awesome. There's no criticism, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just basically what drives you the most, where there is the deepest drive to move into the world and experience something. And then there are so many other people, and it's not the whole world. it's a certain amount of people. I have no idea how many. It feels like we have just outlived this dimension. We've tried it all. We've been successful. We've failed. We've done all these things. And somehow the attachment to grasp for more experiences out there is just diminishing. It's just the energy is just coming out of it. It's like, nah, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. And there might be a period where we feel a little depressed, a little down, because we don't have that drive into the world anymore. And then we may keep trying. It's like, well, I'll try this one more time. Well, maybe it's that. So there's a tendency to keep looking for something out there, still disconnected from that deep yearning. So off we go, try another round. I've done it. I'm just as guilty as anybody. Not guilty in a bad way, but it's like, yeah, that's what we do. I tried this here with the marketing and getting my work out there, and then I took a long break, and then I tried again. And so little by little, it feels like we feel so defeated at some point. And that's not fun, you know? It feels so good, right? To be inspired and have this energy to want to create something and improve certain things. Feels fantastic. Of course it does. So that's why we do it. But then when we keep being defeated, it's like we hit up against that glass ceiling all the time and fall down again. It's like, hmm, what should I try now? And I have been there all the way through. And it's, I would say it's been a very slow process for me. I hope for other people it's going to be maybe more swift and fast. But it really feels like little by little, this separate sense of self called Pernilla, who thought she was here to do things and to make things happen and to, you know, do things so she could survive and be successful and do things that makes her happy. That is like it's being chipped away little by little. For some people, it's like that, right? I think Eckhart Tolle, he had one of those, boom, it's over. I don't know what his process was after that. I'm sure there was a lot of integration that still needed to happen and maybe still does. I don't know the guy personally. So, but for most of us, it's just a slow chipping away. And what is being chipped away is, of course, that drive away from who we are, trying to let this separate sense of self find a way to have a really fulfilled life. And when we get to the point, we can call it the point of no return. It's like, okay, I cannot return back out there. It's like the energy, the you can't muster up the energy, the effort to make something happen out there. And that's where a lot of that deeper stuff starts being dissolved, softened, let go of. And there's a softening that happens inside. And the less of this that we experience, then we can actually really start paying attention to what it is that we deeply want. And again, for me and for many other people I know, it's kind of what Joel Goldsmith shared there in that book. And we come to the place as like, I just want, for me, it's like I'm deeply relaxed in the effortless flow and fulfillment of God's loving grace. I have a few videos with that. That's been my deepest desire statement that I created many, many years ago. And even though I created it because I really felt it, there were still a lot of layers that wanted other things. You know, I want to be healthy, I want to be successful, I want to do this and this and this. And so there was still a movement away. But I did get in touch with that. And the more we get in touch with that deep yearning, and the more we spend time there, even though we also want other things still, let's at least keep going here because that energy is slowly starting to dissolve our outer attachments and wishes and wants. And then at some point, then there is just going to be a deeper and deeper relaxation. I'm not fully there. I'm not pretending I'm somewhere where I'm not, but I can share with you the process that I have been through and still am going through, where I just noticed that I just I just want to be with God. I just want to be with, it's like there is no God out there. I just want to rest in my own presence, my own I am presence. And the more I tune into or rest back into, lean into this experience of I am. And I have shared a lot of that too. It's like you're sitting in a portal. It's like when I go to I am, then I realize like I am the portal. There's no God here and Pernilla there. And then I have to move through this door to get to God, or God has to move through the door to get to me. It's like one and the same thing. So that's a really beautiful resting place to sit. so we can surrender more, even though we still want these things. You can say, like, I know I want these things, but please help me let them go too, right? That's a surrender, right? Instead of saying, okay, I have to let go of this. So off we go out again, doing all kind of things. And again, I'm not saying these things may not be good. I think there's many helpful things we can do out there to help soften the grasp, right? So there's no right or wrong. Is this kind of learning to follow our own movement and our own flow and let that guide us, because that is what comes from within. Maybe it is really helpful, when you really sit here and you let go, that you get the inspiration, I need to do some breath work or whatever. And then that helps you soften so you are more in touch with this. So the letting go is so you can fully experience what I call the longing. It feels like it's something we long for. But what we're really experiencing is our own divinity, and it feels so delicious that when it starts coming forward more to us, or when we start paying more attention to it, then we can feel this pull, right? There's a pull into it. And that's what we can call longing. But it's, again, what is longing when there's only one, right? But we need to stay with it as it unfolds. So this is my invitation. And again, actually, this coming week, I have my monthly online gathering called Feel Your Deepest Longing, Find Your Spiritual Calling. It's the same thing. But when we're out here, it feels like there's two. And the closer we come to the felt sense experience of the longing itself, then we realize that it's the same. There is no two. So again, there's always a process involved in everything until we land there. And then we need to keep coming back, because the outer world will always try and entice us that we need something out there. We can certainly go and enjoy it. We can do things, but now we're doing it because we are moved from within, without a goal or without an idea how it's supposed to look, just purely like, oh yeah, I'm gonna follow this. It's very new for most of us, right? Because we want to know what it is and we want to organize it and prepare and whatever. So it's a process of learning to be that open vessel, that open portal as the divine, as yourself. From here, what I experience, what I sense is going to happen in the world, the more of us who do that, then we're bringing, I say again, bringing as if we're doing it, then we're being and becoming the solution that is needed in the world. The world lives in duality. It lives as if we are separated from the divine. That's just out here, cut off from the divine. So coming back, realizing that you are actually one with the divine, and then you allow yourself to be moved from within. And then there might be some amazing solutions and expressions and all kind of new innovation coming purely from within, that also bring a joy in bringing it forth, right? Because there is a sweetness in being the portal and being an open portal and just letting the energy flow as and through us. It feels wonderful. And that's, of course, what we always are longing for, but we have been trying to get it by doing things out there. So the invitation is to really, really connect with your deepest longing. That to me is the key. That's the key to the portal. So you can go in and become it. And then as more of us are doing that, then we are bringing a whole new energy onto the planet. And that is the energy of the new paradigm, very different from the old paradigm, that is based on much higher qualities of love and peace and cooperation and connection, oneness. Now, isn't that what we all want? at least probably the people who are here on my channel. I'm assuming that you're listening to my channel because you resonate with that. And if that's true, then I was like, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And now let's take it to the next step. Please join my Tuesday. If you feel you need more personal help, reach out for a self-discovery session with me. And please like, subscribe, comment, click that little bell down there so you'll be notified every time there is a new video from me. So we stay connected. But I love to hear there are some of you who always share such beautiful things. And I really receive that with an open heart. Thank you so much.